What was your most surprising therapy experience? My wife died and I couldn't afford real therapy, so I started seeing this guy I met at Denny's at 2 a.m. who said he was a retired therapist. Turns out Frank wasn't retired. He was banned. Sarah got killed by a drunk driver after 3 years of marriage. I was a complete wreck. Couldn't shower, couldn't work, couldn't function. My boss gave me 8 weeks off, but by week 6, I was still wearing the same clothes for days straight. My sister dragged me to some fancy therapist, Dr. Winters. Beige walls, fake plants, those stupid Zen sand gardens, that careful, measured therapist voice. I quit after 3 sessions. Couldn't stand the clinical bullshit when my world was falling apart. 6 months later, I'm still completely destroyed. One night at 2 a.m., I'm at this 24-hour Denny's on Route 9. Can't sleep again. Only other person there is this old guy reading a worn paperback novel. I knock over my water glass and he helps me clean up. Rough night? He asks. Something about his kind eyes made me spill everything. About Sarah. About how I still couldn't move her pink toothbrush from our bathroom sink. About the funeral where I couldn't even speak her eulogy. He just listened without interrupting, then wrote something on a napkin. I'm retired now, but I used to help people. Come by tomorrow evening if you want to talk more. I almost threw it away. But next evening, I found myself pressing his apartment buzzer. Frank opens the door wearing faded Levi's and a gray sweater with a coffee stain. His place was cluttered with books and old photographs. No diplomas anywhere. Just a regular living room with a comfortable brown couch. I'm not a licensed therapist anymore, he admits. Gave up my practice 5 years ago, but I'm still a good listener and I don't charge anything. For 3 months straight, I visited twice a week. We'd talk in his apartment, walk through Riverside Park. Once he even taught me to change my car's oil in his garage. No worksheets or grief stages bullshit. Grief isn't something you get over, he told me while we were fishing at Miller's Pond. It's something you learn to carry differently as you get stronger. Slowly, I started feeling human again. Joined a pickup basketball game at the Y. Finally packed up Sarah's clothes for goodwill. Even laughed at a stupid comedy, then immediately felt guilty about it. Sarah would be pissed if she knew you weren't laughing, Frank said. The dead don't want our misery as tribute to them. I was actually getting better. Really better. Then everything changed completely. I knocked on his door for our usual Tuesday session, and there were 3 cops there. His neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, said they'd been investigating him for months. Frank had been practicing without a license for 5 years straight. His actual license got permanently revoked after a patient committed suicide, and the family sued him for malpractice. He'd been meeting vulnerable people at that Denny's, collecting their trauma, then playing therapist in his apartment. The cops found detailed files on dozens of people, including me. Pages and pages of handwritten notes about my dead wife, my mental breakdowns, everything I'd told him in confidence. But here's what really messed me up. He'd actually helped me more than anyone. For the first time in months, I was sleeping through the night. I'd finally moved Sarah's toothbrush. I was laughing without crushing guilt. When they arrested him, Frank looked directly at me and said, the help was real, even if I wasn't. I never saw him again. But 6 months later, I got a letter from state prison. Just one line. Grief isn't something you get over. It's something you learn to carry differently. I still don't know if he was a predator who happened to give good advice, or just a broken man who wanted to help people like him. But I kept getting better. And I think about that line every single day. The weirdest part? I still use his advice with other people going through loss. I've become the guy at Denny's now, listening to strangers at 2 a.m. Maybe that was his real therapy method all along. Turn the broken into healers. Pass the pain forward as purpose. I just hope I'm doing it legally.